Welcome back to the Childhood Cancer Perspective, and once again, thank you all so much for sticking with me through all of these episodes as I continue to detail the journey of our daughter JC, who was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer, choroid plexus carcinoma, in January of 2020. I also use this episode or these episodes to give it a parent's perspective and a sibling's perspective, and coming up soon in the coming weeks, perspectives of other families and other organizations that have had these words said to them: your child has cancer. So today what I'm going to talk about is life after loss. Now, our daughter passed away on July 3rd, 2021 at 4:15 a.m., surrounded by her mother and I. Her sisters were also there. On that day, things changed drastically in our house. On that day, we all had to make choices and decisions on how we were going to move forward with our life. I always say that when something like this happens, you never move on, because move on means finality. Moving forward means you continue with all the memories, you continue with the legacy, you continue with everything that that person gave you, and you move forward, and you take that energy forward with you. Life after loss is very different for everybody. Some people choose to create an organization. Some people choose to have a podcast. Some people choose to advocate. Others choose to not necessarily think that it didn't happen, but do not want to be part of that cancer world anymore and choose to distance themselves from it. Whether it is completely cutting off all ties to anybody in that community, whether it is slowly starting to kind of move away and shelter yourself from things like that. But none of it is wrong. There is no right or wrong way to move forward and to grieve. For us, obviously, it meant all of the things in the beginning there, to continue the organization that was started with JC, to continue and push to advocate so that we could get more and more eyes and ears on this problem that is pediatric cancer, to run this podcast to reach other people in different ways and different avenues that I may not be able to do through social media, to host events, to travel to D.C., to travel to Madison or wherever your capital is. That is what we chose to do. I know that I have spoken to my wife many times about this in the past, coming up on 3 years now since JC passed, that if it wasn't for me continuing to push and wanting to make that change and wanting to be a voice for these children, or wanting to not stop what we had started while JC was alive, she would have been part of the latter and wanted to kind of just back away from it all and not be part of it. And that's completely okay, and that's completely understandable. And as I mentioned, it's one of those things where you don't decide what you're going to do. It just you kind of just go with it. It's how you feel. It's how you choose to get up every single day. It's how you choose to live. It's one of those things where you don't know what's going to happen until it does. You don't know how you're going to react. You don't know how you're going to survive, how you're going to move forward, how you're going to get up every single day and do normal mundane things that all of us take for granted. And for many people, it is about moving forward but not continuing to be part of that life, and that is 100% okay. For me, it was something that I felt like I needed to do. I had to make sure that I was continuing this battle and continuing this fight. And just the other day, I had, a request that I had sent out to get funding for our organization, where we send care packages to children, and everything that we do is based on those donations. It's all based on our community. And we received a no response, which is very, very common for us, and I think very common for this community. But it really, really put me in a weird position. It got me very, very upset, very sad, very emotional, to the point where I really was feeling like a giant failure to JC. And I've said it every day. I always feel like a failure if we don't complete the mission, if we don't complete that next step, if we don't get what we're trying to fight for. If that doesn't happen, and until that day happens, I will feel like I've failed her. And when we received that, it really got me in a way that I hadn't felt like in a while. And I was extremely emotional and sad because I feel like we try so hard and it almost never works out. But I refuse to quit and I refuse to give up because I made a promise to her. I made a promise to JC. I made a promise to this community that we would make a change for these kids. So life after loss for me is very, very busy. That's my therapy, is to throw myself into my work and to give everything I have to these kids and everything I have to this community to ensure that things are different, to ensure that things get better, to ensure that things are not ever going to be the way that they were for JC. I don't want other families to feel the way we did. So my life after loss is to help ensure that that doesn't happen and that that's not a thing. It is a very, very hard life to live without one of your children here. And there's things that we all take things for granted. We take going on dates. We take uh, you know uh, putting lunch in your children's or putting money in your children's lunch account, or listening to them about a story that is completely irrelevant to anything that you've ever thought about in your life. But you want to be a part of it because you don't want to miss anything. And I think we take for granted all these little things that don't seem significant to anybody else, but they're significant to us, because those significant things and those irrelevant things that other people might think are just a waste of time is time that we're never going to have with our child that has passed away. We're never going to have arguments over stupid things. We're never going to have fights over absolutely dumb and ridiculous things that put us in a mood for the rest of the day, that cause a rift between yourself and your child or yourself and your spouse. You're never going to have that option with your child if they pass. So what other people see as insignificant to us is earth-shattering. So life after loss for us has always, at least for me and my wife, has always stood by my side, and I love her for that. And she has always been there for me, knowing how much it means to me to be able to make a difference and be able to complete this mission that we set out to do, be able to complete doing what we're doing. I absolutely, within my heart of hearts, cannot quit. I cannot stop until we're able to make this a reality. And until that happens, I will not feel like we have 100% succeeded. And that's just the absolute reality of all of it. Um, we, something else that really changed in our life once Jace passed was, and I've talked about this before, was our support system and our friend group and the circle of people that were there and then weren't there. And it's an unfortunate thing because I think you need more support when the absolute worst happens. And we don't have that anymore. And, we were talking to a friend of ours, our good friend, our business partner, our board member today, who you've met on the show, Tim. And, we were talking to him today, and we literally said it's only a statistical reality that at some point you won't want to be part of this either, because it gets too hard. You hear no too many times. It becomes a drag because people don't want to listen, and you're beating your head against the wall, and you're seeing ridiculous things that are passing in Congress and passing in the Senate, and our money is being sent everywhere and elsewhere but where you need it to go, and you're seeing absolute ridiculous things happening every day. And yet every time we reach out for help or assistance or guidance or some way to put that kind of assistance, help, money, funding, research, whatever, into pediatric cancer, we're told there's not enough. There's not enough money. There's not enough eyes. There's not enough time. And we hear that all the time. And we just said that it is a statistical reality that at some point you will give up and not want to be here. Not because of anything that we've done, or not because you don't want to be part of our family or part of our organization or things like that, but simply because you're going to get burned out, and it's just the way that we've seen it. We've seen good friends, close friends, that have disappeared from our lives, that don't talk to us anymore, that stopped reaching out to us after JC passed, and then you see throughout the years since she passed that you see more and more people that will start to shy away, people that were supportive, and so life afterwards, it's unfortunately, even with the love and support of your family and the love and support of the actual, real, true, genuine people that didn't leave, life after loss is lonely. And it's lonely because people don't think that they need to be there anymore. People don't think they need to be part of your life. The worst is over. Now you can move on, and now you can get on with your life. You're not going to doctor's appointments every day. You're not constantly worrying every single day. You're not changing diapers. You're not cleaning up messes. You're not doing any of this. So your life should be better and easier. And as ridiculous as that sounds, yes, we have heard those excuses as to why we should be able to do all of this without JC here. And it could not be farther from the truth. And I've also said, too, that there is a word, which I don't know exactly what that word is, that when your child passes after such an incredibly hard-fought battle, and that word is not relief. You are not relieved that they are not here anymore. You are not relieved that they are no longer in pain and they are no longer suffering. You're something, but relief is not the right word, and I don't know what that word is. But you definitely feel something. You feel, it may, in some ways, that maybe you feel some pressure has been lifted, but you do not feel relief. And so, with that being stated, it's like we need the people to be in our corner forever. We don't need you to go away. And if anything, after a child passes, we need you there more. We need you there to listen. We need you there on our good days. We need you there on our bad days. And for organizations that have been created, we need you there to help support us. We need you there to help us get these organizations off the ground, or get them recognized, or get them funded. We need that. We need you to show up at our events. We need you to show up and support what we're doing. We need you to make a $10 donation once a year. We need you to do something that shows that you actually care about us as people. Otherwise, what it looks like to us is you only cared about the spotlight that you were given because you were helping a family of a sick child. You got the feel-good feelings because you were there to send money or to send food to a family that was struggling because their child was battling a disease. And when it got to the point where you knew there was nothing more that we were going to be able to do, and when we finally realized that we were going to lose her, it became one of those things that we needed the time, or we needed the support then more than ever. And everybody looked at us, were sad, gave us hugs, shook our hands, told us they were sorry, came to the funeral, and then disappeared. So life during a cancer diagnosis, especially with a child, you are surrounded with so many people, so many of your community, of your job, of your gym membership, whatever. You are surrounded by so many people. In life after, you are lonely because all of those people have disappeared. And unfortunately, even people in the community, the pediatric cancer community, that may, unfortunately lose their children, or their children are still battling, whatever the case may have you, they unfortunately will disappear too. And I don't know what exactly the reasoning is. I don't know if it's the fear of it being a contagion, the fear of you being around somebody and that bad luck is gonna rub off on them, the fear of reality, of the fact that this can happen. This is a true, real thing that can happen, and the only way to physically combat that is to actually find a way to just ignore that it's there and not be a part of it or not be around it. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning for it. To me, it doesn't make any sense, and it's never made any sense. Life after all of this has been really hard, and it's been very hard because every single day, and even today, we come to this strong, strong realization that as much as you see support out there in the world, you don't see the support right in your own backyard. And we don't get the support that we need every single day. And I can sit here and be on camera, and I can be on social media, and I can be acting a fool and doing all these things that are meant to make people laugh and meant to make people, especially kids, escape what they're going through for that moment, escape what they're going through for that day, and just watch us be stupid, watch us do whatever we can to take your mind off of it. But there's, when I brought this up before, there's music that really is my escape a lot of times. And there's a song lyric that says, what you see outside is not what's inside. And what inside I'm numb and paralyzed. And the reality is, as strong as I am on the outside, or as strong as you perceive me to be when you meet me, or you perceive me to be because what you see on social media or whatever, as strong as you think that I am that much more of a broken person, and I am broken from the inside, something that you can never fix. You can't change this. You cannot make it better. You can't create life. You can't get time back that we've lost. And it's a shame because I want to help so many people. I want to make it so important. I want to make such a massive, massive difference in this world. And when I leave on my last day on this earth, when I'm being walked to heaven by JC, and she's welcoming me there, I just want her to say, Dad, I'm proud of you. I just want her to say, Dad, I love you. I miss you. And you did everything that you promised you would do. But in my heart of hearts, I also know that if I don't ever succeed, if I never succeed in getting done what needs to be done in this world, she'll still say, Dad, I love you. And Dad, you kept your promises. The world just didn't listen. And I know in my heart that she's proud of me, and I know in my heart that she is happy with everything we've been able to accomplish, even if it's not what needs to be accomplished yet. But I really want on that day to be able to say, I love you too. And baby, I hope you know we accomplished your goals. And so many other kids are going to be helped because of you. So many lives were changed because of you. People you never met, we never met. You made an impact. Your name's in lights. And now I feel like I'm okay to go. And that's what I hope that will be part of the end part of my life, will be being able to say that to her. But there are days when you're dealing with losing a child that you feel nothing but a failure, unaccomplished. I've always said that I give being burnt at both ends a whole new meaning. Because stress to me just lets me know that I'm alive. And stress is my everyday life. It's everything I feel. I'm stressed when things don't work out for me. I'm stressed when you plan and plan and plan and things fall apart. I'm stressed when the support of others doesn't show through like you think it should. I'm stressed when people decide to blow up smoke screens and blow smoke up my ass about how they cannot support our organization or our cause. And they give me reasons that are absolutely ridiculous. And I can do a 30-second search on the internet and I can find out that they're totally full of shit. There's real truth in saying that you want to be able to support all these kids, but you just don't want the responsibility of having your name and your business and your organization and your support attached to a community that you can just close your eyes and pretend doesn't exist. I don't get to shut this off. This feeling every single day that you lost your child and you were not able to save them when that is your one fucking job as a parent, is to protect your children. Your one job is to protect your children. And I couldn't do that. And every day I feel this. And every day I wish I could go back and change something. But in my heart, I know there was nothing that I could do. There's nothing that I could have fixed. Nothing that I could have made different. So this life after loss is not something that I wish upon anybody, that I want anybody to be a part of, that I want anybody to understand, that I want anybody to realize and to feel. I don't want anybody to be a part of that because it is not a good feeling. You see us laugh, you see us goof off, you see us play, you see us be ridiculous on lives, on TikToks, on Facebook, on social media of any kind. You can, if you meet me in person, you see that I'm generally a pretty happy person. I do everything to make everybody else happy, to make sure that things go smooth. When I'm in DC, it's generally a lot of laughs and smiles. You're there with people that are going through the same things you are, but you're able to smile and laugh because these people understand you and you feel comfortable and you let your guard down. But like I said before, inside, a life after this is numb and it's paralyzing. It's absolutely paralyzing. Every single day seeing these amazing things that my kids are doing and seeing these amazing accomplishments and literally being months away from having a daughter in college and a graduation that my baby JC will not get to see and will not get to be a part of. And she will never wear a cap and gown. She will never go to prom. She will never go to homecoming. She'll never get college acceptance letters. Never learn to drive. Life after loss sucks. And as hardcore as we fight every single day to make a change, and as hardcore as we fight every single day to make a positive difference, every single day, this life is not something that I would once again wish on anybody. All I want to do is make a difference, and all I want to do is make sure that our daughter's name and her legacy live up to what she set for the standard. The mission she left behind for me has to be fulfilled. That is an absolute positive and absolute, it has to. There is no excuse. There is no other option. Her name has to be in lights, and she has to be seen as the absolute angel and saint that she is, helping others and putting people first, because that's who she was. All she wanted to do was put people first. All she wanted to do was allow for other people to be happy. And that's all I want. And so I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep pushing. And I'm going to keep stressing out every single day. And I'm going to keep correcting people when they make wrong assumptions and wrong comments about pediatric cancer. And I'm going to stay hardcore on these senators and these congressmen and women until they absolutely listen to what I have to say and are willing to sit down and make a change, are willing to sit down and write a bill or co-sponsor one that I've written. It is an absolute necessity that I become the most annoying person in the Senate Capitol every single day. That I become the most annoying person in the D.C. Capitol until people listen to what we have to say. There is no other option. And I will do what it takes for however long it takes until that mission is complete. Until I feel like our daughter was done justice, and all of these other warriors that have laid their swords down, and all of these other warriors that are fighting so hard right now, and all of these other warriors that will be diagnosed every single day are spoken up for and are given the respect that they demand and deserve. Part of my life died. Part of my heart died on July 3rd. And I will never get that back. And I will never have the opportunity ever to be able to see her again the way she was, the way we knew her. Beautiful, beautiful bright red hair, beautiful smile, infectious laugh. I will never be able to see that again, and I won't get to see that progress through life the way that she should have been able to progress through life. But I also will never, ever stop being her father and being her biggest supporter and her biggest advocate. The pediatric cancer community is strong. The pediatric cancer community is loud. But there are far too many of us living the life after loss. And that is absolutely not okay, and something that will have to change. And I intend to do it. That's going to be this week's episode. As I mentioned, I have several interviews set up with friends of mine that host their own organizations that also either have a personal connection to it or a connection to a friend or a family member that had pediatric cancer, some that have lost their friends or family members, and then the organizations that were created in their honor and those that still fight today and still push through today to help make a difference in children's lives and their daily lives. And there's a lot of things that have to be done, and a lot of things that get taken for granted. Like I said, that a lot of these organizations, some of them, they all support the children, but a lot of them now are learning also support the families, the parents that are going through this, something that I think not too many people believe they need support or that they need anything, that it should all go to the kids, and the kids deserve it all. But parents in general, they're going through this battle with their children as well, and they need to be supported, whether it's through an ear to listen, a shoulder to cry on, or financially, anything that we can do. So I'm going to interview several of these organizations and these friends of mine, and hopefully we can help get the word out about what they're doing and the word out about anything that they've got going on here in the near future. If you would like to be, if you are part of this community, if you run an organization, if you have a child that is currently fighting, if you have a child that has passed and you would like to tell their story, please do reach out to us through this podcast. I have a form that I can have filled out, and it will allow you to, I'll set up a time where we can have you guest on the podcast and be able to tell your story, whether it's, like I mentioned, about your child, an organization, or both. We'd love to be able to share that any way we can. So this will be it for this week. I will see you back here next week, and I will bring you episodes starring some of my friends and their organizations. We'll see y'all then.